Today I wanted to talk to you about using Adobe Illustrator to create patterns for your boutique hotel project. So we're going to go over creating patterns in Adobe Illustrator using both a PC and a Mac and the Transform Each command. So to get started, go ahead and open up Adobe Illustrator. Go to File New and hit OK. Open up the Tools palette if you don't have that. Go to Window and then Tools and make sure the Control palette is up. Click and hold on the Rectangle tool and bring down the Ellipse tool. With the Ellipse tool, you can make ovals and perfect circles by holding Shift. Click and drag out a small circle by holding Shift. Now it has a white fill by default and a black stroke, but we're going to flip that so it has a black fill. Then just click the stroke and set the stroke to none because we don't want a stroke. Then you can change the color from black if you want by double-clicking on fill and perhaps making it blue. What we want to do is duplicate this, and one way to do that is to use a keyboard shortcut. On a Mac, hold down Option. On a PC, hold down Alt. And it's going to turn into a double black and white arrow as you want to make sure it's on the actual object. And then you just click and drag. You'll notice that what it's going to do is duplicate. If you hold Shift, it keeps it at a 45 or 90 degree angle. Without deselecting this on a PC, that's a Control D, and on a Mac, a Command D. This is a shortcut to Object Transform, Transform again. Whatever you did applies the same thing to the newly selected object. So if you hit Command D a couple of times, it's going to start creating a pattern with the selection tool, and then you can click and drag it around and just keep moving and building that pattern. We want this pattern to move vertically, so click and drag around it, and that's what you're going to do eventually once you create a pattern. And hold down Alt on a PC or Option on a Mac and then click and drag. Hold Shift to maintain that angle and do Command D again, and you'll create rows and rows of circles, and you're creating a pattern. So here you can see the second row starting to be created. You can control the spacing and more. So you've created a basic pattern. The next thing you could do is start to create variations with color. You could, for example, choose analogous colors and start making some of the circles a different color, and that could be really interesting. You can experiment by adding different colors. You can even change the outer shapes of things if you wanted to by creating shapes and deleting certain circles. And there you're going to see how you could create sort of an overall shape for a pattern, again clicking and deleting. So I'm going to click and drag around that and hit a backspace to delete it. Over on the Ellipse tool, hold and go to the Star tool. Click and drag, hold Shift so it's level. So this is a different way to do it. Instead of Alt or Option click and dragging it, go to Object Transform and Transform Each. This will allow you to make it smaller or larger depending on scale. You can move it or rotate it depending on your settings. Go ahead and click Preview, and that'll preview where it will move. So let's go ahead and make this 75% of what it is and move it horizontally. So I'm going to click Preview and unclick it, and you'll see what the new one will look like. I also want to rotate it 16 degrees and hit Copy instead of OK. If I hit copy, that keeps the original but it's going to produce a new one. And of course, by doing this, I am creating a pattern. Select Object Transform, Transform again by hitting Command D, and now it's going to apply the same equation we chose over and over again, and the same offset from the center of each one, and then you can slightly rotate it. With this, you can click and drag and Alt-click it, or Option-click it, or rotate it and create some kind of a pattern there. You could also hold down Command-C on a Mac or on a PC, Control-C, and then do a Control-V or Command-V, in other words, copy and paste it, so that you have a pattern that you could use for your boutique hotel pattern design. It's uniform, and you can do many different things with that Transform Each command. So here you can see creating this really great pattern of stars in different sizes and how that might work. And I can select the whole thing. Now, if you went back to Object, Rounded Rectangle Object Transform, you can rotate it, scale it, hit Copy, and create a new shape. You can also go to Object Transform, use the Selection tool, but Transform Each allows you to create specific settings here, and you can always copy and repeat those with Transform Again to create many, many different patterns using Adobe Illustrator. So there you see Transform Each and Transform Again.